Hello and welcome to this mini episode of the Presidencies of the United States. I'm your host, Jerry Landry. For our American listeners, you know that we have a holiday coming up, Thanksgiving. For our international listeners, you may not be quite as familiar with this holiday. Traditionally, it is said to have begun in the autumn of 1621 at Plymouth Colony, where the Puritan settlers there held a feast after their first harvest in order to thank God for their blessings. As the story goes, members of the nearby Wampanoag tribe were invited to join in the festivities. Though this feast sounds more akin to our modern-day Thanksgiving festivities involving copious amounts of food, the first English-language Thanksgiving in the English North American colonies had occurred nearly 2 years prior in George Washington's native Virginia in 1619. The Virginia Thanksgiving, though, was just a prayer to give thanks for having survived the voyage across the Atlantic. Despite orders from the London Company to make this prayer of Thanksgiving an annual event, this did not become a regular holiday until much later. In 1789, as it was the first year of the new government under the Constitution, Representative Elias Boudinot from New Jersey presented a resolution in the House to make a request of President Washington to declare a Thanksgiving observance in honor of the new Constitution. Congress agreed. The resolution was passed, and it was sent to the president. Washington, in turn, issued a proclamation on October 3, 1789, designating Thursday, November 26th as a national day of thanks. The modern Thanksgiving holiday happens on the fourth Thursday of November, which this year falls on November 23rd. Though the holiday is not without its controversy for what it represents to Native Americans, I try to take it as an opportunity to reflect both on an important, painful legacy of our nation's history from which we must work to build a brighter, more inclusive future for all, as well as personally reflecting on all of those people and parts of life that have helped me to develop into the person I am today. It is for me a time to think about my place in the world and to appreciate all the steps, both joyous and difficult, that have gotten me here. In honor of this holiday, I would like to read Washington's proclamation in full. A link to the text of this proclamation can be found on the website at presidencies.blueberry, that's BLUBRRY.com. Please feel free to reach out to me via email at presidenciespodcast, all one word, at gmail.com, or on Facebook at facebook.com/presidencies, or on Twitter at presidencies89. The music selection you are about to hear is from Movement 2 of the Planets by Gustav Holst, which is entitled Venus, the Bringer of Peace, as performed by the U.S. Air Force Heritage of America Band, and a link to the full audio is available on the website. As always, I thank you so much for listening, and I hope that all of you, whether this is a holiday for you or not, take a few moments to think about the things for which you are thankful. For family, for friends, for whatever in your life gets you up in the morning. And please know that I am thankful for all of you. This past year and change of podcasting has been a wonderful experience, and I couldn't do it if you weren't out there listening. So thank you, and may you all have a wonderful day. By the President of the United States of America, a proclamation. Whereas it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly to implore His protection and favor. And whereas both houses of Congress have, by their joint committee, requested me, quote, to recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving and prayer, to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts the many and signal favors of Almighty God, especially by affording them an opportunity peaceably to establish a form of government for their safety and happiness. Now, therefore, I do recommend and assign Thursday, the 26th day of November next, to be devoted by the people of these states to the service of that great and glorious being, who is the beneficent author of all the good that was, that is, or that will be, that we may then all unite in rendering unto Him our sincere and humble thanks for His kind care and protection of the people of this country previous to their becoming a nation. for the signal and manifold mercies, and the favorable interpositions of his providence in the course and conclusion of the late war, for the great degree of tranquility, union, and plenty, which we have since enjoyed, for the peaceable and rational manner in which we have been enabled to establish constitutions of government for our safety and happiness, and particularly the national one now lately instituted, for the civil and religious liberty with which we are blessed, and the means we have of acquiring and diffusing useful knowledge, and in general, for all the great and various favors which he has been pleased to confer upon us. And also that we may then unite in most humbly offering our prayers and supplications to the great Lord and ruler of nations, and beseech him to pardon our national and other transgressions, to enable us all, whether in public or private stations, to perform our several and relative duties properly and punctually, to render our national government a blessing to all the people by constantly being a government of wise, just, and constitutional laws, discreetly and faithfully executed and obeyed, to protect and guide all sovereigns and nations, especially such as have shown kindness to us, and to bless them with good governments, peace, and concord, to promote the knowledge and practice of true religion and virtue, and the increase of science among them and us, and generally to grant unto all mankind such a degree of temporal prosperity as he alone knows to be best. Given under my hand at the city of New York, the 3rd day of October, A.D. 1789, George Washington.
Mad Magazine.
Advertising mascots.
B-movie posters.
And cartoons.
Oh yeah, can't forget cartoons.
If you get the funky connection that ties these pop culture gems together, you'll dig Two Designers Walk Into a Bar.
See, we're a couple of creatively curious pals living between the bookends of grand museums and dive bars.
Hey, you know the place, the sweet spot where highbrow and lowbrow become drinking buddies.
So join our barroom chats as we talk influential work and uncover stories of how the familiar became iconic. Think behind the music for the stuff we love.
Check out our website at twodesignerswalkintoabar.com.
And listen wherever you get your podcasts or visit evergreenpodcasts.com.